What's up, everyone? Recently, people have been asking me how I've improved my deadlift form, basically what the process I've gone through. And a lot of times you hear online people talking about how can I fix my deadlift if you round your back and all that stuff. So hopefully this video will help out a little bit. I'm just going to go through a process and show some of my videos over the years and what I've basically done. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started. The first step is obviously to analyze the problem. So what you want to do is either have someone there with you while you're lifting, hopefully someone who knows what they're doing and can adjust and coach you, or you got to video yourself and look at it yourself, or find someone who's more experienced than you to look at it and tell you what's wrong. So first step here, let's go back to one of my old videos. This is from March 2010. So we can see over here how bad my form used to be, and yoink, there we go. Rounded back, no tightness, hips shoot up, all around bad. Speed's pretty fast, but that's pretty bad form right there. So let's move on. Let's go here to April 2010. This is that was 320. This one's 385. So we got more weight in the bar, but another month of practicing deadlifts. So here we go. Start. There we go. Already rounding right there. No tightness. Hips shooting up. Then I have to lean back way far and try and drag it up my legs to recover my position. And so once again, not very good. Let's keep going forward. Let's see some more crappy videos of me lifting. December 2011. This is 470. Now I got a belt on. So here we go. Oh, there's massive rounding. Hips are way up already. Knees are like almost locked out, but hips are not even close. Here comes that same position where now I gotta lean back and drag it up my legs to try and recover position. And locked out. So as you can tell, basically the lower back is rounding right off the bat, and there's no tightness, and it's making me fast off the ground, but it's not making me lock out very well. It's really slow. So now that we analyze the problem, we know there's lack of tightness, lack of patience off the ground, there's lower back rounding. You can make your assumptions whether this is a technique issue or physical muscular weakness or mobility or whatever. Instead of guessing one thing, might as well figure it's all of them and try and work on all of them. So the first thing I want to see is if I can get into the correct starting position. Regardless of where weight's on there, before them pulling, I want to see if I can get in a correct deadlift position. So here's me from February 2012, just trying to see if I can get in the correct starting position. If you can't even get in the correct starting position, then there's no way you're going to pull it correctly. So here we see I'm already rounded. I haven't even begun pulling. I'm just trying to get into position, and I was already rounded before. As you can see, I'm videoing and I have people watching me to help me out. So here, let's fast forward a little bit, try another set. I have my friend watching me so he can try and give me cues on the spot. You can see he's coming and trying and telling me to get my lower back more arched. And I literally can't do it. No matter how I try, I literally can't get into the correct starting position. Here we go, here's another set. So here we go, trying to pull it back into position again, trying to pull my shoulders back, trying to do anything I can. And I just can't get it. Friends trying to give me different tips to try and get it, and it's just not there. Here I am still practicing after pretty much everyone's gone. Slightly got the position but lost it right away on the pull. Here we go again. This time I'm trying to maintain the lower back while I'm actually bending over to the bar. And you see it rounds. Here, if I sit back far enough, I kind of get the position and then lose it right away. So there's a couple issues here, possibly mobility and strength, and it seems like kinesthetic awareness. I had no idea of what the arch lower back look feels like in that position and how to obtain it. So from there, I just worked on improving my mobility, improving tightness at the bottom, and trying to figure out what it feels like to be in that position, and just having patience in that bottom, and not just yanking up your lower back right away, trying to drive the feet and just letting the bar come up when it's supposed to. So here's some more practice. This is from April 2012. This is just 135 on the bar, and you see now I can get good position and I can actually pull 135 with the correct starting position. And obviously it's easy since the weight is light. Here we got 225 belt on. See, once again, I could pretty much now I've worked on mobility, worked on what it feels like to get my back arch. I can get a correct starting position with 225. Pretty smooth pull. You can get it again right there. So now let's fast forward to 315. See, I can pretty much get the correct starting position, but I lose a bit of it now that the weight is heavier. So I've gotten better at, with the lighter weights, getting the correct starting position and maintaining that position, that rigid spine. But once the weights get heavier, it's causing me to break down. So kept working at it. Here's June 25th. Here's maxing out with 496. See, I got a pretty good starting position, but lost it or some of it right there. But not as bad as it used to be. But you see, I still have some of that leaning back, slow lockout. Keep going. Here is August 2012. This is my second attempt, 485. You see, I got good neutral spine. Pretty much maintained it, lost a little bit of it as usual. And it was pretty smooth pull. Last I pulled 501 on the third, but videoed it from the front, so you can't really see back positioning on that one. And fast forward to 3 months ago, July 2013. Let's take a look at, it's from the front. Oops. Let me turn off this sound. It's from the front, but you can kind of see how I'm creating tightness. You see I'm pulling the slack out of the bar, trying to get a neutral back. You see I've done this new thing where I keep my head down. It makes me be able to feel my back a little better than the head up, and then I turn it up at the top. So that was pretty easy. 468. Here's 507 for competition PR. You see I pull that slack out, creating tightness in the back. You see here I brought it up my legs a little bit, but not as bad as it used to be. And then here's 518. 17-pound PR. You see back stays pretty tight, even though it's not the best angle for it. And then it's pretty much a fight for the lockout. It's good. So one thing that I learned to how to keep the hips down and not lose my tightness is here in Mark Ripeto's video, article, a new rather long analysis of the deadlift. In this one paragraph, he talks about the force that makes the bar go up is generated by the muscles that extend the knees and the hips, and is transferred up the rigid spine. So what you need is a rigid spine and extending at your knees and hips to get the bar off, not losing that lower back and using that to get the bar off the ground. So weight leaves the floor when the quadriceps extend the knees, but for this to happen, the hamstrings and glutes must anchor the hip angle-ized position. The hamstrings pull down on the pelvis from below, and the glutes hold it from the top. If the back stays flat, this allows the force to travel up through your spine, and the quads push off the floor. So basically what you have is you're using your hamstrings to almost pull your hips down and then extend your knees to start opening up your hips to break the bar off the ground. So now when I try and deadlift, I literally try and think about using my hamstrings to pull my hips down so they don't shoot up and so my lower back doesn't shoot up. And being patient and letting the bar break off the ground. Here, if you keep reading on, it says that the hamstrings and glutes fail to hold their position during the initial push. The quads don't contribute to the movement. And that's when you see people whose knees straighten out immediately. Like as soon as they break off the ground, the knees straighten out, hips shoot up, and they do almost a stiff-legged deadlift. That's because their hamstrings or the glutes aren't holding their hips in position to use the quads to extend the knees from the start. So here you see you just shove your butt in the air without the quads lifting any weight. The lift is done correctly. The hip angle opens very slightly as the bar raises to the knees. So I'm going to try and show this a little bit. Alright, so here is a analysis program, and I basically just dumped my deadlift videos from last week into here. So here's pretty much looking down the barbell, and if we look, I got my position pretty much here, back straight, my head down, because that helps me feel better what's going on in my back. And what I'm trying to do is use my hamstrings to pull my hips down and stay patient off the ground. So you see it goes up a little bit, not that bad, but back is still straight. And then my hips start opening up and going through. So if we watch that again, I'm trying to drive my hips down. They come up a little bit, obviously. And then shoot my hips through. So you don't see any massive rounding. You see the rep is pretty much same speed throughout. So there's no massive slowdown near lockout. And it's a pretty good quality rep technique wise. This is just the first rep with 415 or whatever I had that day. I think it's 415 on the bar. So I just took the first rep. And I also did some analysis just on sumo. So I was trying to do the same thing with sumo, driving the hips down and through rather than pulling up with the lower back. So here you see it goes up a little bit, but not as bad as conventional. And then it opens up together with my shoulders and goes straight through. So I'm almost a little more efficient with my sumo pull than I am with my conventional pull. Though that's only 365, so it's obviously less weight. Here is with 405. See, hips go up a little bit. I tip forward a little bit, but not that bad. And then hips come through. But no lower back rounding. So basically that's how I've slowly improved from 2010. I had crappy form. 2011 I had crappy form. 2012 I kind of got tired of it, even though I've never hurt myself. I figured it's time to change and make my pull more efficient, hopefully get me stronger. But I'm going to try and end this video here. But basically your steps were, first you got to analyze the problem. For me, that was checking the starting position was my first thing to work on, to see that I couldn't even get in the correct starting position regardless of the weight. And some of the issues were possibly mobility, just lack of strength, lack of back strength, whatever muscles used in the conventional pull, lack of kinesthetic awareness. I was having trouble even figuring out what lower back tightness is supposed to feel like and what a rigid spine was supposed to feel like. And part of it was that head thrown back position. It almost makes you feel like you're arched even though you're not. So if you see in my newer videos, I keep my head more neutral. For me, that's just how it helps me to feel my lower back better. And next was to work on tightness in the starting position and patience off the ground. And the last thing is obviously put time and practice into whatever you're trying to get better at, and you will slowly see yourself obviously getting better at that. Alright, so I hope you liked that video. I tried to make it as short as possible, but obviously I had to go through a lot of different videos and show you how slowly improve, so you get the idea that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. There's a few years, as you can see, 2010, 2011, and part of 2012, where I didn't even care about improving. I just wanted to get stronger. So that was building up bad motor patterns that's going to take even longer to fix. So about 2012, I started working on it. Took a more scientific approach instead of just saying, oh, maybe if I do this it'll work. I went analyze the problem, video lifts, show it to people, read up on proper technique, and start working on fixing the problem from the ground up, which for me was get the starting position down, strengthen the muscles that I need to keep a rigid spine, and just put in time and practice into slowly getting better and better. And as you see, it's not perfect yet. There's always room for improvement. My hips shoot up a little bit still off the ground, but it is much better than it was a few years ago. And so just keep putting in the work. Don't try and focus on one thing. Don't be like, oh, I just need to do good mornings to strengthen my lower back and it'll solve all your problems. Well, you might be wrong, and then you have to start all over again. Pick a few different things. Like I picked my working on my mobility, working on my back strength, and working on proper technique for my build. Put time into all three of those, hoping that if the problem is actually one of those or a combination of all three, and it started working, and it's still working, and I'm still getting better. And hopefully one day I'll have just as good form as I have with my sets as I have with my maxes coming in competition. Alright fellas, so I hope you liked that, and follow along. If you have any questions you can ask. If you want a link to that Mark Ribbito article, I'll probably put in the description. All those videos that I showed you are pretty much on my channel. You can go look at if you want to go look at them further. And if you have any other questions about something else you want me to do a video on, just ask me. Alright, that's it.